All right, I guess we're live.
Okay.
I can't see it.
Welcome to Books You Never Read.
Except for those we have.
I'm Nicole,
I'm Jason.
and today we're wrapping up our discussion of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I just realized this moment how much I depend on having a screen over here to tell me what we're doing.
Well, here, I'll try to read
No,
it.
it's okay. We're doing great. If you're just joining us, I highly recommend that you go read in the discussion. If you're watching on a replay, you can chat us up in the discussion box. And if you're catching us live because you have read the book or because you don't mind that there are spoilers, chat us up in the little live discussion box below. We're available on YouTube Music as a podcast. We have tons of books playlisted for you in the playlist section of our channel. And we have a new book to announce, which we shall do. Well, we have announced it.
We have announced
but we'll release a syllabus for that later today.
it. Is there
There's
is no
no-
anti-memetics division
Yeah.
by Quantum?
You'll have to say all of those things because
Yeah.
I can't say those words.
There is the guy has a real name. It's like Sam something, but oh my god, this is crazy.
And I'm currently pulling up chat. So if you're in the chat, we can't see you just yet because we're just having a moment.
Well, you can see it right there.
Oh, can I?
Yep, it's down there at the bottom.
Oh, Peggy hated it. Oh, no. I was so entertained through this whole book.
Yeah.
And I was very interested in how it was going to end. You know, like, I liked that for Henry, he got a do-over. And I think that that's really cool. But there were different parts of me that were like, it would be nice if this book ends nicely, because we all like a happy ending, right? I mean, that's the nice thing to do. I was like, but what if he is absolutely miserable and traumatized over this event and lives his entire life, you know, a tortured soul because of what has happened to him? You know, and what if her end of the deal went horribly wrong? Which we got this like extra little twist at the end that she thinks she's outsmarted him.
Yeah.
And I don't think she has. I think that's the game. I think that's what keeps Luke entertained, is because she is clever. All the ways that she tries to outmaneuver.
Yeah, I've been thinking a little bit about like how she thinks she's outsmarted Luke, and part of the deal, like she didn't give him her soul per se. She said like, "I will be yours until you're tired of me," and so I suppose at some point he gets tired of her. That releases her of the deal, and then she gets to go back to like the original curse, right? Like I don't think she dies. I think she reverts
Just
back.
goes back.
I'm
They're just
not
going-
sure about that.
This
but
has
it's like,
just, they have both become gods. Hit enter.
it's not doing anything, and I can't turn it off. Like I held the power button and it wouldn't turn off.
Yeah, it's just going to sleep.
Try one more time.
Hold it for a very long time.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure that that's like the appropriate reading for it. But I think your point is right about Henry just kind of like, because by the time Luke is tired of her, there may not be people left, right? Like there may not be a world to go back to.
Yeah, but they have just become the gods of their own design, you know, and I think that that's very interesting.
I think too that you make a good point that Luke could just be like tricking her here into thinking that she's like pulling over on him, because there's no reason to think that. You know, like he lied to her about like loving her and like all this other
Luke?
stuff. Yeah.
But
throughout-
did he?
Well, but so we don't know.
Yeah.
But it's all part of the game.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
And I think that's all interesting and fun. And what's fun with them is that they're both finding ways to entertain themselves for eternity.
Right.
They have each other to hate and love, which we need. And they are the only two who can, so it works. That was, I don't know, that was just very fun for me. But overall, I did really love the story. It was just weird enough, just magically enough. Seeing all the world that she got to see was really cool. Part of the ending that I was wondering if we would get would just be her being shattered, watching Henry die and all that. And, you know, we've seen her go through shatters and recover through the retelling of her story. But it's different when you already know where she's ended up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she's overcome this. It's okay because she's here telling the story. But to see it happen live and for the book to end that way would have been really intense.
Well, so I mean, like, I'll make the point that Henry wanted to die, right? Like that was what he was doing when the guy showed up, and then he was like, "Well, if I could just do this, like, I guess I'll do that." And then he was like, and then he had like made his peace with death. He had wanted to die originally because this love of his life had left him. So now she has forced him to live and has left him.
So
I just want to, so Peggy makes a comment that you may be able to see on your little screen that abusive partnership doesn't love anyone but themselves, and both of them are toxic, referring to both Addie and to Luke. And I agree with that. And I think that what she has done at the end, like, is supposed to be beautiful, but is selfish, right? Like,
so she didn't have to live knowing that he had died.
Yeah, and like she doesn't mind Luke all that much, right? Like she likes this toxic relationship, right? Like she does kind of love him, and she does also hate him, and she does want to pull one over on him. So she is getting everything she wants in a lot of ways out of this deal.
Because she's not human.
Yeah.
And this is her exhibiting her fully not human self. She is now officially among the gods.
All right, I'm on board.
You know?
Yes.
And so I think that's really cool. As far as Henry is concerned, he didn't want to unalive himself because his girlfriend broke up with him. He wanted to unalive himself because he feels too much. All of his emotions and feelings are too intense.
Yep.
And I think it can be argued that he had a moment where he was considering unaliving himself, and this guy showed up right in time. Would Henry have actually stepped off the roof? Would he have actually done it had this guy not shown up?
Sure, yeah, and we'll never know. Yeah.
We'll never know. And that is, and even Addie says that.
Right.
We'll never know if he would have actually have done it. But I think the case can be made that while he was trying to be at peace with the term that he made and that the year was going to be over, in this year that he lived, he realized that he does have a life to live. That he's learned how to regulate his emotions. I don't know that Addie helped him in that department. But he did learn that he had a whole life that he wanted to live. And he seems appreciative of this extra life that he's been granted. He's preparing to travel and, do all these things. So
Peggy is literally rolling her eyes.
I have no new comments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. All technology today is failing us.
So she says her eyes hurt from rolling into the back of her head.
Oh, gosh. Well, I'm sorry that you didn't like it, Peggy.
Well, and that's fine. We don't have to like all the books.
Yeah.
So I'll say this. I did like this book. Content-wise, it is similar to like... So I'll call this like a romance of some sort. Of the romances we have read, this is probably my favorite. Because it does have like this fun extra twist, and it's not just people like meeting up and falling in love, right? Like there's this like bonus part that I thought was fun. So I like that. I also like but otherwise like the content of the story was like, all right, like, boy meets girl, but like plus, right? Whatever. Where this really shined for me was, y'all know I'm a sucker for just like the language of it. And especially when like in this last reading, the descriptions of Luke just go so hard. And I am just so fascinated by people's attempts to describe the unknowable. And Miss Schwab or Mr. Schwab, what is this?
V.E.
V.E. The author just does just such a fantastic job, I think, here at the end of doing this sort of like unknowing, like, because early on my complaint was that Luke felt too human, but in this one, especially when he starts like nom-nomming people, like we start to get some really cool
We got
Luke
some
descriptions. I might have had one.
Nom-nommy.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting my chat back.
Gotcha.
But what does that mean?
She's being negative a lot.
Oh,
It's her
okay.
treat for finishing the book.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. I tried to make an audiobook bookmark. I've never done that before.
When you make an audiobook bookmark, it just takes you back to that audio.
Oh, okay. Does it show up in
It might.
Kindle?
It might. It might. No free advertising. So of the people that he nom-nommed, or that we saw him nom-nom, interesting, we got to see Beethoven.
Yes.
And we got to see Frank Sinatra. Not get nom-nommed, but it's coming. And there was the woman at the palm reading stand.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just so interesting because it's like I want to hear their deals and I want to hear their stories, you know. There was something else I wanted to say. Oh, there was some good discussion between Addie and Luke about is short-term life, long-term recognition worth it? You know, for an artist to burn out, you know, like a very hot star, you know, it's short, but it's effective and it's knowledge lives on for a long time. You know, like, is that worth it? No, I want to be a nobody forever. I don't want to burn out.
I feel like that offers a false dichotomy, and I would say none of it.
Yeah.
None of it's important. None of it matters. Sorry, just like, you know, whichever one you pick, like, do you?
But, you know, to want something so bad that you'd be willing to sell your soul. And what does that even mean?
Yeah. Well, it's like a very Greek hero sort of problem, right?
Yeah.
Like, do I want to be a nobody and like have a decent life, or do I want like people in 3,000 years to still talk about how I rode this boat over to this other
Yeah,
place?
who's that? Is that Achilles or
Yeah.
Agamemnon that cries to his mom about...
I think it's Achilles.
Yeah.
But like, is that worth it?
Right.
You would never know, you know. And so, but like, it's a
But that is the Greek ideal, right? Is to be the hero,
yeah.
to be honorable, to uphold these characteristics, and to die while you're still upholding those characteristics,
And
not
so,
to
like,
survive
right.
while you become, you know,
And so
a
I'm not
turd.
like part of me very much agrees with all that, right? Like, go out at the peak,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. The other part of me is like, none of it matters. So whatever. I found my bookmark, which is very
cool.
Anyway, there were several great descriptions of Luke, but this is one of the first ones during that we got during the French Revolution, and so it's whenever she goes like into him and comes back out like elsewhere, right? But like, how are you supposed to describe that? And the author wrote, "It is not as still as death, not as empty or calm. There is violence in this blind black void. It is birds' wings beating against her skin. It is the rush of wind in her hair. It is 1,000 whispering voices. It is fear, it is falling, and it is feral, wild feeling. And by the time she thinks to scream, the darkness has peeled away again, the night reformed, and Luke by her side again." And just like this sort of, like all of those things like emote something, you know? But individually give you nothing, and collectively still cannot describe, you know, what the author is trying
That
to
was
do. Yeah.
a great description, though. I liked Bia also.
Which one's that?
His friend, who had all the different theses, ideas. I love the fact that she was already chasing this 7 freckled woman.
Yes.
And then here she is. She keeps showing up. And poor Bea can't remember that she's seen her all these times or met her all these times. But I loved that going on in the background. And I loved that that became some of the art pieces.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the way all of that entwined. That was just...
That's sort of the real tragedy, right?
Poor Bea.
Yeah. You know, it's things like that I'm always just like so fascinated by authors. Like, I get how you could come up with this story, but then being like, oh, well, what if like one of his friends is like constantly chasing this girl? And like, oh, what if one of his friends is in like a play about Faust? Because this is very Faustian, you know? All that kind of stuff. I enjoy that.
That this was just fun. There was a big story here about a woman who refused to be owned and die. She is still beholden to someone, you know, which is kind of like this dark undercurrent of the story. And so she spends her eternal life fighting against that. And then here's all just like a good old-fashioned Greek mythology story. The gods are playing their own game, and the people on Earth are being affected by it in all these different ways that they don't realize.
Right.
That's so much fun. I love a good Greek story, and I love this.
Okay, but so you bring up a good point, right? Like, she makes this deal so she doesn't have to marry this boy in her village. But she basically ends up marrying Luke, right? Like, there's...
Right.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
No, interesting. So from one...
The fate was fated. Yeah, to the other. But she feels like she has control in this one, and she gets to learn and see and experience and do everything the world has to offer.
Yeah.
And that was important to her. Marrying that boy from her village, she would only have ever known Vion.
Yeah.
And never would have seen or been, or...
But would that be worth it?
She seems to think so.
Yeah.
When Henry asks, would you do it again? She says yes.
No, you're right. You're right.
Even though all the long stretches of loneliness and heartache are so much longer than the short spurts of joy and love and excitement, still worth it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, really what she wants is to be free, right? And, like, I'll reframe that as, like, untethered. But, like, no matter what, you can't be.
Right.
And maybe that's sort of like, there's this sort of gravity to other people or relationships or whatever.
And she does describe Luke as a sort of gravity. And we all do, right? Like, we are free to make our choices, but our choices bind us to other responsibilities, other people. There's no escaping that. And each decision we make has an effect on how difficult those gravities become. You know? I don't know. I think there's like a big lesson to be learned. It's all about choices. That is, you know, like the
Sujay isn't
the mantra of our lives. It's all about choices, and some we really fight for, and some we kind of just let happen. But they all have responsibilities and consequences that come with them, and that's part of life. And we should find ways to enjoy it, much like Addie has. Was it all easy? No, but was it worth it? Yeah. She found a way to come to terms with that. I really liked this book.
I liked it too. I did. I liked sort of at that point when they go into the church and they have this conversation about like, well, I guess like Jesus or something is also something like Luke, but is not the same sort of patron, right? Like he's not necessarily like tricksy, but he does want souls, right? I think that part was kind of fun.
I had a good moment of tee-hee-hee and entertainment when he said, oh, so if I just don a white and gold garb, how does this look?
Yeah.
Am I a new person or am I a new god? You know, I thought that was very interesting. And the mechanics of all that we did not get to learn.
No.
You know, we don't know how the god system works here.
Right.
Is it a god? Is it a demon? Is it a monster? Is it magic? Like,
these are all just words that people use to describe forces
that we cannot understand.
Older.
Estelle and the tree that got chopped down. That was quite a heartbreak.
Peggy going hard today. Peggy says, so the moral of the story is to enjoy what you can about your crappy life. So,
Well, yeah.
That's not like the worst moral.
Yeah.
I'm not saying to like resign yourself, but like I would hate for you to suffer and then die, right? Like
Right.
just I don't know. We are very opposed to suffering for no reason because
Right.
of what's going on in your mind, and it's something that everybody struggles with. I'm not sure that that's like the point of the story here. You know what I mean? Like, but she does try to find a way to. I don't know, man. I say that she tries to find like a way to make the best of it, and like I guess she does, but like this is anguish, right? Like she's unhappy, and she is, constantly obsessed with like Luke, and why doesn't he show up for 40 years? And when he does show up, I mean, like,
And was this
Yeah.
better than her just marrying someone and living a simple life in her little simple town? That path would have been easier for sure, but there would have been no life to it.
yeah,
So there's kind of a mixed message here, right? Like to an extent, we're all given a lot in life. We can't control where we're born, and we can't control who our family is, and we can't control our genetics, and we can't control sometimes our hormones and all that stuff. But this is what we've been given, and then it's our job to do the rest and to
Yeah.
make it work to our benefit and to try to do something good in the world and
yeah.
and have a good time.
I'm not sure there is a moral to this story. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure there's something that we're supposed to like learn necessarily. It is sort of an exploration of like love and attachment, right? And then there's this sort of like side thing about like art. It is very Greek.
I really thought that was going to go somewhere. She was reading the Odyssey. I really thought there was going to be more interconnectedness with that, but it was just kind of dropped in there in one
Yeah.
part and then not really discussed again. Yeah, make the most of a life, but feel free to try to break the rules a little bit and get the most that you want out of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess really, I don't know. If I were gonna be like, if I was gonna, because I've thought about recommending this book to some people, and I'm not sure like why. Like there's something in my head that says, I think you would like this book. For the same reason, almost for the same reason as recommending Midnight Library, right? We've brought that up a couple times. I do see some parallels here. Midnight Library is a bit more on the nose, right? Like about like wishing for other lives and all that. So like there is sort of that aspect to it. But I guess this is really just like learning to appreciate, and it just took Addie like 400 years to learn to appreciate. And I'm not saying that you should like learn to appreciate getting forced to marry some dude in your like village in the 1200s, right?
Right.
Like I'm not saying that, but there's like pros and cons, and there's always a deal to be made. Luke's not the
Right.
only person making these deals,
Right.
There's always a deal to be made.
It's all about choices.
It's all about choices. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, maybe that might be sort of like the people I'm thinking of. Yeah, I don't know.
But also, like, the book it's an adventure.
Yeah,
It's fun,
sure. Yes.
and it's wild, and it's very imaginative. It's very different. And that's what I was looking for. I wanted something that was like The Night Circus.
Yeah. This was like fairly lighthearted for being something that is not lighthearted. You know what I mean? Like it was a good middle ground.
And
I
it
think.
did touch on some really dark parts.
Yes.
But it just touched on them. It didn't launch us into crisis just to let us know, that she had to make this choice over here, or make this
Right.
choice over here, And that,
Yeah, you're right. It does touch on some very dark things.
I appreciated
Yeah.
that. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
You can just tell me the dark thing. I don't have to, like, see it. Well, I mean, they showed it. But, like, I don't know. It was done well. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It could have really gotten
Peggy says she wishes that she'd had more historical events. I did too, but as we got to World War II and she was like in jail, I was like, oh, what if they all die and like forget she's there, and then this gets like buried in rubble, and then she's like under the ground forever. And it took me back to Castle Rock, and like I got very concerned that like a Castle Rock situation could happen.
Yeah, quite glad she just got yeeted out of there.
Yeah, that is an appropriate use of Luke.
Yeah, that was an easy fix, but I appreciated it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like watching her go through history was really fun. I really looked forward to any chapter that was hopping back into the past. But it did kind of kill me when I saw that the section with Luke spanned like decades. And, you know, what's decades in 300 years? You know, not huge. It's fine. But I was like...
The section with Luke spanned decades.
When she's with Luke, the chapter title spanned decades. It was like 1950 to 1980.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. I mean, like, she just lost track of time during all that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and he can manipulate time.
Clearly. She was gone 6 days.
Yeah.
Oh, it made me feel so bad.
Yeah. It would be fun if, like, what if we had a scene with Addie, like, in a spaceship going to another planet or something? Or, like, Addie at, like, the heat death of the universe, right? Something very, three-body problem.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. I think that'd be kind of cool.
But we don't need a second one.
No, I'm just, like, it'd be fun to have, like, this, like, bonus, like, one page.
Yeah. Did anyone read the intro or whatever to the next book? It was like at the, you know how like it was like read an excerpt from my next book, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Just wondering.
What's the next book called?
Stand by.
Standing. I thought, you know, Peggy's talking about how she spent like 50 years in New Orleans. I did think that was pretty cool. I think New Orleans is like a great city to sort of like represent the chaos and the art.
It is chaos and art.
Yeah.
I hate that they burnt down her little house though.
Well, yeah. So there's like a little yellow house on Bourbon Street or whatever, and like I bet that house exists. I bet there was a house specifically that the author was considering.
Sorry, I got distracted by something else. Bury our bones in the midnight soil.
I would definitely be interested in coming back to this author. The writing is good.
I'm interested just based on a quick... Oh, there are questions and topics for discussion.
Pick 3.
As we meet Addie's many lovers, Remy stands out as the first man who lived up to her girlhood fantasies. On the magical night they met, Addie was dressed in a pair of trousers, a buttoned coat, and a tricorn hat. How did her disguise as Thomas stoke their passion? Sorry, I just picked randomly. I didn't read it until I read it. How do our disguises stoke passions?
Pick another one.
So I do think that that's interesting, right? Like, Remy really just stopped to help and to correct a wrong that he had done. Right. He had knocked her basket over and spilled her honey and stuff. So it is interesting that he was further intrigued by this person because they looked so different. And that difference meant something to him because he was also trying to be different. Right. You know, he's like on that cutting edge of philosophy and new thinking in that time period. And she literally embodied that. She was a woman in pants. Yeah. What a leader of the movement, you know. I thought that was kind of fun.
Well, I mean, this sort of just takes us back to like art and representation and like what is a person really, right? Because like to all these people to Luke, they're just souls, for the most part.
Yeah.
Like that's it. They're just souls. But
Except for
Addie to
her.
be is like this muse, and to several other people throughout. And Henry to literally everyone is whatever they want him to be. So yeah, that's a good point. That to Remy at that time, she's almost sort of a Henry, right? She represents.
Exactly what he needed to see.
Yeah.
What's the best and worst things about Addie's invisible life?
I guess one of the best things is like you get to do do-overs, right? Like you get to stress test the situation. You walk in, make a joke, and somebody doesn't like you. Right? It's like that's kind of cool. The worst thing is that like you can't get on a plane. Like that's.
Yeah, she's stuck.
Yeah.
Well, not now, Luke.
Yeah,
they
it's
can
rough.
just fast travel to wherever, just
Yeah.
go through the darkness. So that's over now. The best thing about Addie's invisible life is that her capacity to learn and experience is infinite, and that's incredible. I would love to know everything.
Yeah. That is pretty cool.
And the worst part is that loneliness, that there is no one that she truly can share that with.
We have all this stuff about her inspiring art, but it would have been cool to find out that she like invented something.
I kept waiting for that to happen, like with the pants thing, and for Romeo to
Yeah.
write about maybe it's time that women wear pants, and then the women are now wearing trousers. But no.
One thing I did like is we brought up last week, like, who cares if she can say her name or not?
Right.
Because everybody forgets. And we actually get a discussion of that in this reading, so that was kind of cool.
Literally, they said the same thing we said. Like, who cares? They're forgetting anyway.
Yeah.
But it's to her. That is a damage
Right,
to her.
right. Yeah. All things considered, I enjoyed it. If somebody's like, I just like want a thing that is like semi-thought provoking and not too difficult, but
Yeah.
it's like well written.
And yeah, kind of fun, kind of scary sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I did like this. Okay. As the intention behind Bia's project was revealed, what did you discover about the power of art to preserve hidden truths? In what way is Addie's identity written in the stars? I don't know about that last question, but I did love tracking that throughout the book. Just the way that art captures what it is fundamentally to be human. And even though we have kind of determined by the end that Addie cannot call herself human anymore, she is at the heart of so much art. And that is the human part of her, that impact that she's had on people.
Well, and this brings us back around to like this Greek thing, right? Like that is a very Greek concept, right? Like whether your art be war or like the OG Olympics, right? Or like, whatever, I mean, like this idea of like doing it well, and like this concept of like forms, right? Because that's really what she's doing. She's like leaving these impressions of something on people. That scene whenever they go to the bar and that guy walks up and like sings the song about her, about the girl he's never met, but she's in his dreams or whatever. That was a good scene.
Yeah. We had called Henry and Addie star-crossed lovers last week. And then in this week's reading, we saw her sit through Wagner's Tristan and Isolde, which that is what the source material that Romeo and Juliet comes from, is Tristan and Isolde.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Where's one of the things?
Yeah, but not from Wagner, but from...
Well...
Yeah, okay, I got you. Yeah.
Right, but it was Wagner, his music for the opera of Tristan and Isolde.
I don't think Wagner comes before Shakespeare. Wagner
No.
comes after. Okay. I don't understand what you're saying.
The story of Tristan and Isolde is like
Okay, I understand that part. So, source material for both.
from,
Like German literature, but ancient.
yeah. And then Wagner does the musical
Okay.
of that. But also, we called them star-crossed lovers, which
Right.
was Shakespeare's
Right.
take on those kinds of things. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting that we had called them that, and that she was so taken by that musical.
Yeah.
And I listened to Wagner's Tristan and Isolde while I read that part.
Yeah. What's crazy about Wagner is like the operas would take days to perform sometimes.
Ugh.
Like you like it wasn't like you showed up for 3 hours. Like it was a thing, right? Like you went and like stayed at a hotel and you'd show up for like the morning and then you do the afternoon, then you do like the next day and the next day.
Oh, wow.
It was really wild. But like
Very
I
Greek.
think well, I just think how like she talks about how mind blowing it was, and it probably would have been, you know.
Well, just listening to the digital version of that music gives you chills. I mean, it's just, there's so much to feel. So to hear it live,
Yeah. Well, again, and like, okay, so now we're talking about like the capacity for art to like convey things, you know. And something that you and I talk about a lot is like I'm just fascinated by like the sound of the West, you know, and that's something that's like
like a
wholly
musical.
constructed. Yeah. But there's a song out of Fantastic Beasts that they're like doing stuff, and all of a sudden, they go into his lunchbox or whatever, and part of the lunchbox is out west or something, and the notes just hit this perfect representation of like the West, and it just takes you there. And like the same is true of like Russian music, right? Like whenever you hear like a Russian thing, or there's certain types of modes that make you think of like Asian music and things like that. And,
A certain key structure, like
Yeah,
notes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, all told, enjoyable.
And lots of things that to pick apart. I mean, we could have taken better notes.
Yeah.
We could have really like seen all the work the author put into this. I think the author did do a lot of
Oh yeah, sure.
a lot of back like homework
Yeah.
to do this.
Yeah. You know, fun fact, I'm pretty sure Addie is in the background of the painting, the Flanders panel.
I was waiting for that.
Oh, yeah? Dang.
That was the semi-royal person who
Yeah.
didn't want to marry whoever.
Yeah. I guess Flanders panel was a little before her time, but it would have been earlier. She was born in like the 1600s. So Flanders panel was like 13 or something. 14.
Gross. How terrible.
Well, I don't know that I have much else to say. This has been a
just off
good
screen.
conversation. Say what?
I said it's just off screen.
yeah.
Wham bang.
Oh, yeah. Good times. Good times. Early mistakes.
She has been not in the chat today.
Yep.
Shelby.
That's okay. All right. Well, I think we'll probably go ahead and start wrapping this up. We will put out a syllabus for our next reading. We are suspecting that we will not meet next week because we will be traveling. But so we'll get all that figured out. The syllabus goes up on Fable for anybody who is new here. It looks like all the new people left for the most part. There was a lot of viewers for a long time.
Aw, shoot. Yeah, I did forget to mention that. We're on Fable and Instagram.
Yep. So if you find us on Fable as Books We Never Read, you'll see the syllabus and be able to discuss with us. But the next book is There Is No Anti-Memetics Division by Quantum. I know next to nothing about it other than it's a sci-fi horror. And I've seen people say it's the most scary sci-fi they've ever read.
Wonder if there's going to be a fungus.
Always in fungus. Always. All right. Thank you for being here. We will see y'all next time.
Happy reading.
Bye.